Hi there, it's Ben Pemberton from Shade Landscapes and Water Gardens. We're here on the Chelsea Flower Show, putting an Aquascape ecosystem pond in at Chelsea. It was me and my brother Joe Pemberton have come down together. We're getting the liner in. At the back, you will see that there's a wetland filter. So the top pond is, the whole of the top pond is a wetland filter, and it comes down a stream, and then there's a waterfall at the end of the stream, and then it goes into a flood zone. And periodically in the show, that area at the front of the garden will flood. And it's a real privilege to be able to showcase the Aquascape way here in the UK's biggest flower show.
So I'm behind the Chelsea garden here. This area we're using to store water for the flood zone. So we've put in an Aquascape reservoir here made up of aqua blocks and liners, pump vault, check valve, all of the system here to make sure that we have a completely foolproof way of storing water that is then pumped down into the sunken path within the garden during the flood event.
So I'm Baz Granger. I've designed the 𝗕𝘂𝗶𝗹𝗶 Safe for a Rainy Day garden for Chelsea 2025. The garden basically tackles how weather and climate change is going to affect gardening over the next 25 to 30 years in the UK. So we have a water feature which basically allows the garden to flood. So when we have these sort of weather events, we can manage the water, we can take it to the parts of the garden that we want to. So today we're focusing on the first part of the water feature itself. So the guys are sort of down behind the digger. We've got the pond liners in, we've got our water harvesting system underneath that, which is fairly interesting and something I'm not sure whether it's been done at Chelsea before, but we are having a system that is fully functional, so we can capture our water. So we have this sort of water crate system that they put in underneath the main water feature, which is now being built with rocks. But that will capture water and then allow us to use it whenever we need it. So we can use it for irrigation. If we wanted to flood the flood zone and have it as a permanent water feature, we can, but it allows us to sort of take the water, put it into storage to allow us to use it when we have our sort of drought conditions, which are also forecast. So extreme flood, extreme drought and higher temperatures.
So far for me, the most challenging part of the build here is space. So as you can see, the steel's already erected in place. We've got delicate walls that have been put in. So we're trying to move machinery, materials and personnel around an area that is very confined. And as you can see, the roads around Chelsea are very, very congested with machines and products. So yeah, space is a challenge, but we're working it out.
So basically, Baz Granger has designed this garden from Landform. He's come up with the original story and the garden design, and then he's approached us at Shade Landscapes to basically come up with a system that will work and give him what he's looking for. This is a pond at the top here, and then we go down into a stream, and then this is a negative edge pond that then waterfalls down into this basin. The end product will look like this, which is Baz's watercolour of the finished garden.
Okay, so the reservoir down there is basically holding water. So imagine this is almost like a pond with a negative edge. The water comes out of this pond, down over the negative edge and into the beginning of that path, that sunken pathway down there.
I'll quickly just talk to you about the rock work. So there's some nice rock in it.
Yeah, lovely rock.
And how have you found that? You've had 4.5 days so far to put all of this rock in.
Yeah.
Fun? Hard?
It's been really, really hard work. We've been doing like 13-hour days, but it's been great. The bonus of rock, big rock, although it's slower to get in and harder to get in, one rock eats up a lot of meterage of pond. So in some ways it's quicker, in some ways it's slower, but it's been hard work. So I'm at the back of the garden here, or should I say behind the garden. This stud wall here next to me is cladded on the other side. It forms the rear of the garden. It's cladded with stone. And this is obviously where we've run our pipe work for the clay pipes that are continuously emptying, recirculating the water and emptying it in over the top of the wetland filter. So these pipes run, well, this pipe runs from our reservoir at the bottom of the garden, the flood zone. It comes up the garden, buried, and it tees off, feeding the wetland filter, but also teeing off to run these clay pipes.
First Aquascape feature in any show garden in the UK.
So I've been coming here every year for a long time. As a punter, I come in, I love the place, I get so much inspiration, and it's really a bucket list. I always wanted to get in here and build, and especially with water. So that's huge for me. And then to be here actually doing it is a major privilege. Chelsea, for me as a business, puts you on the map.
Yeah.
And that was a real dream to put my business on the map, to be here, because it's got a huge audience, this place. How I look at Chelsea Flower Show is really, it's like the catwalk of garden design. So the Chelsea Flower Show leads the way, really, world over. So yeah, here we are, the garden is completed. It's been an incredible journey. It looks outstanding. The planting has set this off. I couldn't be prouder of how this aquascape looks. It's working a treat. All the flood events are working at exactly the right timing. So as the public come past this garden is going to change quite considerably with all the water control that we've put into it. So we designed this water garden so that basically the wetland filter is always given an upflow in this pond, and these back clay spouts here are a constant. So this is when it's in the dry season. When we go into the wet season, we have more water flow that lifts this pond level here. And what it does is it makes the waterfall more violent round the corner, coming round visually much more of a violent cascade, and at the bottom there it floods. At that point, water is coming off of the overhead structure and into this pond to indicate heavy rainfall. So when we're in the rain event, all of these steps here become flooded, giving a much more sort of aggressive waterfall look. At the bottom of these steps, the water level will rise, flooding the bottom of the path, and then the rain event stops and the path and the flood event starts to subside away in level, going back to a dry season. So this garden is all about resilience. It's all about the future of climate change and how water can affect the spaces that we design. So that's why we've put in all these flood events. Even with the planting, the designer has taken into consideration the fact that these plants will be resilient for years to come with the climate change that we're about to experience. So this garden, with the planting and the whole style of this garden has been based off of a region in the south of France. And I can really feel that when I sit here with all the colours and the specific plant species that have been chosen. This is my first time at the Chelsea Flower Show. The whole experience has been incredible and I've really enjoyed it from day one.